Speed.
Well, you pretty thing, they had you in a bathing suit, I noticed again. These director boys just have to see little Sarah in her ballerina suit or her bathing suit.
But it wasn't exploitive. You have to.
Oh, it
agree.
never. It's not. I wasn't complaining. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't complaining.
Yeah, I found myself in a bathing suit again. Well, what are you gonna do?
Isn't this a wacky movie?
Yeah, but isn't it wonderfully wacky?
How did it read? I mean, it's
it
great
read
to watch,
like
but did it read good?
gangbusters. It read. It was my favorite comedy script that I had read, and I laughed out loud. And the proof to me was that I gave it to my brother, who's a writer, who's a snob, and he's a huge fan of Andy Bergman. And I didn't tell him who wrote it, and I gave it to him, and he said, "This is genius. This is absolute genius." And in my opinion, it's a virtually flawless script, and it read perfectly.
Well, it's so much fun as an audience to sit through because the music is great anyway, so it kind of powers you through a story that's a lot of fun anyway. And all the people are kind of over the top. I mean, your character's gone nuts, and Nicholas's character's is crazy and all that.
He was in a shack!
It must have been fun acting, you know, in this. Cause you
it
got
was
to act.
the best. It was. I keep having these good experiences, and you and I have the same conversation time and time again, but I'm just really lucky. This is one of those, once again, idyllic experiences from day one. The script, the people involved, the locations, the actors, just the greatest.
Well, it's a good time movie, and it's one of those you can actually take
it's
everybody in the family to.
It's the feel-good hit of late summer.
It's a kids can go see this.
Something for everybody. I mean, it's completely accessible. Every age level, religion, ethnicity, whatever you are, there's something in it for you.
Any Elvis imitator stories?
No, just that there were dozens everywhere you looked.
It's kind of odd, isn't it?
You shoot a gun in any direction and hit one.
Do you have a particular favorite?
I guess I like the fellow during the card game, the Asian Elvis impersonator, I believe his name was Eddie, who felt compelled to sing at the most inappropriate times. Yeah, I liked him a lot.
I like all this Elvis stuff anyway.
Yeah, it was great. Anyway. My favorite thing, though, of course, is the Flying Elvises. I think that is, I don't even know where Andy came up with that.
No, I asked him what he had to eat the night before he wrote that, to see what kind of creative juices were flowing, you know.
What did he say?
He said it wasn't Mexican. He think it might have been clams. He thought clams
is that right?
might have done that for him because he writes some pretty wild
testimony
stuff.
for clams,
Right.
I guess.
Do people call you Sarah Jessica, or they call you Sarah? What do your friends call you?
My friends call me Ratty.
Ratty?
Ratty. Oh my God, I do have a nickname. Sorry, something else. Sarah Jessica.
They call you Sarah Jessica.
Yeah.
Instead of Ratty.
It becomes easier the more you know me. It becomes less of a mouthful and less formal.
So when your mother was yelling at you always, it was Sarah Jessica?
Oh, you bet. When she was yelling, it was Sarah Jessica. Absolutely.
Okay. I just had to get
the fear of God
get past that. Now, if you're having a night where you want to rent a video and you have to stay in or something, or say you're sick and you want to watch a couple movies, what kind of movies do you watch in your own time?
Wow.
That was great. It was kind of like earthquake.
God,
right,
I
let's
hope
do
it's
that
not
one
going to
again. We'll
take
do that
time off
question
from
again.
him.
No. If you're at home and you want to rent a movie because you're sick or you're watching a bunch of films, and what kind of movies? Not necessarily titles, but what do you like to watch?
Preston Sturges films, love. Old films, I somehow am inclined to rent those sooner than I would a contemporary film. I love them.
Like
and
old black and white things?
Old black and white. And that's, I think, why I like this movie so much. It's because it reminds me of those old, great 1940s love stories.
Boy loses girl, boy goes after
grand
girl.
gestures for love, you know, people saying things and speaking in ways that we don't speak anymore, a kiss being so important.
A girl going off into the sunset thinking about her relationship
Yes.
and all that kind of good
Yes.
stuff. What girls on screen really just still thrill you, older ones, you know, they're like mentor types?
Gosh, all the obvious ones, Meryl Streep, Jessica Lange, Michelle Pfeiffer, Jodie Foster, Mary Louise Parker. She's not older, I know, but she's still, I think, fantastic. Gosh, Claire Bloom, Ingrid Bergman, and Bette Davis.
Has the movie star stuff kind of kicked in at all in your personal life? I mean, is it kind of, when you go somewhere, are you getting that recognized, or people kind of look at you and say, I kind of think I know who she is?
Yeah, more and more so.
Is that good?
I think that I love meeting people. I've always been a people person. I don't mind people coming up to me.
So you treat it like a politician, like you're running for office, basically?
Well, sort of. I mean, it's not quite that calculated, nor do I have an agenda that way, but, and thankfully I'm not running for office, but I love the response, good or bad. I think it's important to hear, and I think it's really nice that people feel that they can approach me. And the only downside is that, for some reason, you know, the rest of your life is open for scrutiny, and people feel that they can write and say anything they want.
Yeah,
That's
I was
just
kind of
the
going to
downside.
ask about that, because sometimes you've shown up in the People magazines, and I call them and worse. I mean, it's not like it's bad. They don't say anything bad about you, but I mean, is there a point where it just makes you uncomfortable that you're kind of being watched, or you feel like you might be being watched too much?
Yeah, it makes me uncomfortable ultimately. I mean, I understand that as an actress, no one put a gun to my head and said, you have to be an actress, and I understand that a certain part of that is being public, but I think that there is absolutely a very clear line that has to be drawn. So it makes me uncomfortable, and sometimes it's upsetting, and sometimes it hurts my feelings, but you sort of come to terms with that.
Can you even imagine what it must be like to be someone like a Princess Diana, that every time you even go boo, there's a camera in the bush or somewhere?
I just can't. I seriously cannot imagine. I cannot imagine. I can't imagine not being able to go to the market and picking my own produce. I just think that would be horrible.
Yeah, you would never want to be that famous, would you?
No. I don't want someone to pick my produce for me.
I mean, like Elvis. I mean, this movie's got a lot of Elvis stuff in it. I mean, he was that way. That's maybe why he died.
I also think that absolutely, I think it's an unhealthy way to live. It's not fair. And I think that there's also certain times when a person might cause that too. I mean, I don't think a person really needs to travel with 15,000 people surrounding them. I think that only brings attention to yourself.
It's like Jay Leno, he still travels by himself.
Yeah, exactly.
I had the same thing happen with Meryl Streep. It's like my mind went blank there for a second. But, it's like a disease. Oh God, what happened? What was the most fun that you've had so far in making movies?
Gosh, I guess the people that I meet, but the people that I work with, meaning more importantly. This movie was great. So
when you dial around and say you're in a hotel room and LA Story pops up, can you watch it? Can you watch yourself?
I think at this point now I could watch it. I think
there are a lot of people who can't. I mean, Nicholas said he doesn't really care about watching himself too much. He kind of gives them the willies.
It's certainly, it can be very uncomfortable, and I don't think I'm the best person to view myself initially. I think it's better to give it some time.
Could it be, though, because you were a dancer and you had to watch yourself in a mirror constantly? Could that be it?
And also, not only did you have to watch yourself in a mirror, but then they told you not to look in the mirror. They would throw these black fabrics over the mirrors to not. So you were constantly given these mixed messages. Look at yourself, see what's wrong, see what's right, and then don't look at yourself. And also, I think that for me, it doesn't serve my work to watch myself, especially while the movie's being made. I never go to dailies. I think that's really puts me at a real disadvantage.
I can never watch myself.
I'm sure it makes you very uncomfortable.
It makes me throw up. I hurl right there when I see myself. Anyway.
Well, thank you.
I never could stand it,